Have you often wondered what San Jose was like years ago? Who were some of the people that helped shape and create the San Jose that we know today? Let's meet two San Joseans who had a great deal of influence on the growth of San Jose. Irene Dalis is a native of San Jose, celebrated a stellar career in opera in New York and Europe. After retiring, Irene returned to San Jose and founded Opera San Jose. She has influenced the renaissance of the arts in our community. Charles Davison was born in McAlester, Oklahoma, and landed in San Jose following World War II. Chuck became a civil engineer and heavily influenced the housing industry in San Jose, particularly in the area of affordable housing. Chuck is also a strong supporter of the community in both the arts and academics. Both Irene and Chuck are graduates of San Jose State. Over the years, Irene and Chuck have participated in the development of the San Jose we know today, growing from a small town to a city of 1 million people.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was a small town. Everybody knew everybody. We had a real downtown. As a matter of fact, the highlight of the week for me was when my sister would drive me downtown. She was 15 years older than I, and we'd park on First Street and watch the people go by. There was a lot of hustle and bustle, and many times I thought, in reality, I was already studying people and how they walked. I think it helped me in my career as an actress. San Jose was beautiful. It was, a valley of heart's delight, and that's true. It was very small, very beautiful, very congenial. It wasn't exactly a cultural mecca, but we could leave our doors open all the time. We didn't have to lock them. We didn't have to worry about being robbed. It was just beautiful. The perfect place to raise a child.
Irene Dalis attended San Jose High School and graduated from there, as well as from San Jose State with a degree in music.
It was a college at that time, San Jose State College in 1946. I then left to go to New York City for my master's degree. At that time, the population of San Jose was 50,000.
Irene's operatic career led her to New York and the major cities of Europe. When she retired, she returned to San Jose, as she always said she would.
Okay, then my career took me away 30 years. When I returned, all of a sudden it's a metropolis. So what changes has been tremendous. It has to do with the population has changed. It still was not a cultural mecca when I returned, but that was in 1976, 77. I always knew that I would retire from the stage at 50. That's what I did. But the president of the university got wind of this, and more or less, he invited me to join the faculty of my alma mater.
And she said, well, that sounds very, very inviting. And I said, we're having budget problems, but if you say yes, we'll make it happen. So she was very interested, and I called the academic vice president immediately, and I said, I don't know how you're going to do this, but I want you to get pieces of it from wherever you have to do. I want a full professorship for a woman named Irene Dalis in the music department. And the academic vice president, Bert Burns, said, who the hell is Irene Dalis? And I said, well, think of her as the Willie Mays of opera.
And then they didn't know what to do with me because I said I would not teach voice. That's a very special talent, and that's not one of mine. So they put me in charge of something called an opera workshop. I didn't even know what an opera workshop was, so I went to ask the chairman of the department what that was, and he explained you take the more advanced voice students and you have them actually perform scenes from opera. And I thought, I could do that. So that was announced. And we all of a sudden had 75 singers, one more talented than the other.
I was superintendent of schools at the time at Eastside, and she was curious as to whether or not we would let them use the theater at Independence High School. We had just built a new school there with a beautiful new theater, and it could accommodate about 500 people, so it was adequate for the opera workshop needs that they had at San Jose State.
The second performance we did was downtown at the Center for Performing Arts in this huge theater. And I sat out in this empty theater and I thought, you know, this is crazy. We've been working on this for months and months and months. We're going to have one performance. And what do these singers do when they graduate from the university? They're not ready to do anything. And that's when I thought, I have to start a professional company. And I have to find a small theater. That was the Montgomery Theater at that time. At that time it was dark. Actually the San Jose Rep and the opera started the same year in the Montgomery Theater.
She called me again one day and said that she'd like to talk to me because she wanted to start an opera company in San Jose. And I said, sure, let's chat. And we did, and I became part of that founding board. And now as we look back over a quarter of a century, we can see how far we've come.
In 1984 is when Opera San Jose emerged. Up until that time, we always performed as the San Jose State University Opera Workshop. It had 5 name changes, but in 1984 I had my board and it became a professional opera company. We started with just 2 productions with 2 performances each. When we left the Montgomery Theater to move into the wonderful California Theater, we were up to 14 performances of each production, always totally sold out, and we did 4 productions. So it is a company unique in the United States. There is no other company like Opera San Jose.
And another one of her dreams, of course, was to introduce opera to a much broader audience. She believed, as you and I would believe, that you start this with very young people. So the opera workshops were developed for the schools and began to move into them. They're still there today. And I honestly believe as a result of that, we have many, many opera goers today that had their start from the school programs that Opera San Jose provided.
Well, that was just at the very beginning of the arts renaissance in San Jose, and so when I was asked to be part of that effort, it seemed to me that a city that wants to offer a variety of cultural opportunities for our citizens, our residents, that opera is an important part of that. I think it's what you have to do is go out on a limb, gamble a bit, get the right people together, hire the right executive directors, and the community has to get behind it. And certainly with Opera San Jose, Irene did an extraordinarily good job of engaging the right people in the community.
Irene played a major role in the renovation of the California Theater, along with David Packard, the City of San Jose, and the Redevelopment Agency.
Oh, the California Theater. Actually, when I arrived in San Jose in 76, 77, and when we started thinking about a company, and I used to think, oh, that's where an opera company should perform. So I secretly had wished that to happen. But it would not have happened if David Woodley Packard didn't come into the picture. It would not have happened if David Woodley Packard had not been a subscriber to Opera San Jose for years. I watched his children grow. I'm very grateful to this gentleman. The whole city should be grateful to David Packard, what he's done.
The mayor referred to the theater as an economic asset. You know, I have a lot of trouble thinking of the theater as an asset. To me, a theater is a romantic experience.
I brought him together with the city, and for every dollar he put in, the city put in $2, but that means he put in $30 million of his money into this gorgeous theater. And that was another high point of my life, I must say, when we had our opening night in the beautiful California Theater.
Irene is a woman of many talents. Her business skills are well respected throughout the arts community.
The fact that Opera San Jose has operated in the black since its inception is a direct credit and tribute to her business acumen.
Irene is a wonderful combination of capacity and tenacity, compassion, and she rules with an iron hand. So everyone has always understood that they better be minding their pennies.
Music and finance, music and math somehow go together. She loved math. We call her Bottom Line Dallas. You know, if it's not in the budget, it isn't going to happen.
On the music side of Irene's story is her dedication to the development of opera singers.
I think there's an equally great contribution that Irene has made, and that's to create an opera company that provides opportunities for young singers to develop their talents. We are one of the few opera companies in the world, literally, that do this. And it's to her credit that she had the vision and the determination to see that vision come to reality.
We own 2 apartment buildings where the singers live, and housing, as you know, in the Bay Area is very expensive, so that's a wonderful thing. And at Opera America, at the Opera America conference, people came up to us. They told us that was so unusual, that nobody has that. Singers don't have that across the country. They have to fight for every role, figure out their own housing.
Exceedingly compassionate, recognizing talent, recognizing who can do well, and then really putting her money where her mouth is, getting behind that person, and using what influence she can to help those people along.
I think many of you know that I run a movie theater, not another theater, I don't run a theater, but a movie theater in Palo Alto where we show nothing but classic films. And one of the things that's great about old Hollywood is the studio system. And the thing about the studio system is that all the actors and technicians were under contract. They worked together day in and day out. Now, there are a lot of reasons why those films were so good as they are, but I think one of the big reasons was the sense of working together. And this is exactly what's great about Opera San Jose. And I think that when you come to these performances, you see the people on stage, they're friends during the day, they live in the same apartments, and it gives you something that you can't possibly achieve when you bring a bunch of superstars in for the evening.
I was a young woman who met Irene Dalis, but that didn't mean I had a full-time position as a teenager. So therefore, I did work in music, teaching. I also was a musical director at the Santa Clara County Fairgrounds, and that had to do with kind of pop music and the musical theater. And I do remember the day when Irene Dalis was given an award from the community. And I didn't know she was given this award, and I was singing Butterfly for her at the opera company. But that evening, I was also singing New York, New York with my singing group that was there. And she said, what can I do to get you to stop doing this? And what happened is then I was given the position of the first resident artist, and I was given housing, which is fabulous, health insurance, which is also incredible. Many things gave me the opportunity because the funds, whatever funds I had, I put back into my voice, but I didn't have to worry about rent.
Irene's supporters shared the one thing that impressed them the most about Irene.
Her compassion, her tenacity.
That she's a very compassionate, giving person. And it shows with the resident artists and the company itself that she's so smart, and she uses her intelligence in a very good way.
I think San Jose is very, very fortunate to have someone like Irene Dalis, because she is really, for us, a major star in the entertainment field. But more importantly, when she retired from the stage, she didn't stop. She made a major contribution to our community by starting an opera company, sticking with it, causing it to become very, very successful. And now, as a city, we can be very, very proud of the opera company that we have here. And it's a direct tribute to Irene.
Irene reminds us of her vision for San Jose and the arts.
I imagine the city of San Jose eventually being recognized for what it is. It will never be a San Francisco. I don't want it to be a San Francisco. We have our own qualities. What I envision is, I envision a city that people will want to live in because of its beauty, because it has much beauty. We're very well situated. There'll be a lot of opportunities for jobs here. And for me, what's important, there really is a cultural life.
Thank you, Irene.
I was originally from Oklahoma. I was born and raised in Oklahoma, and went into the Air Force and got out of the Air Force and went back to Oklahoma. Went to college here a while, then ended up in Kansas City. And from Kansas City, I ended up in California. When I got here, I stayed. Of course, I got married about 2 years after I came out here.
Chuck came to San Jose after World War II to work. He stayed and enrolled at San Jose State, and later graduated with a degree in civil engineering.
I came to San Jose because I was single, young. I was in Kansas City, had a great job, but you know how youth are restless, and it's always time to move on. So my buddy and I came to California.
And I grew up with Charlie Davison. We've been friends for 75 years. I mean, good friends. And of course, we grew up in a little town of 300 people in a 3-room school, and we enjoyed that.
And I got a great job with the State Highway Department. That's now called Caltrans. More by accident than it was anything else, because I knew very little about San Jose when I came.
San Jose has gone through many changes since Chuck moved here. San Jose has grown from 100,000 to over 1 million in that time.
Since 1952, there's been rather dramatic changes, not only in the valley, but the whole Bay Area. You know, back then, the El Camino was not solid from San Jose to San Francisco like it is today. And we had a number of orchards still going. We had 18 canneries in San Jose back in the 50s. And the Southern Pacific Railroad was big time here in San Jose with big time yards. And we grew from a big country town into what is the 10th largest city in the United States. So there's very few places in the world that's had that kind of growth. This is the only one that I've witnessed firsthand.
Chuck played a major role in the growth and development of the San Jose housing industry, both market rate and affordable. For this, Chuck has received many commendations and awards.
You know, I've been asked a number of times what I'm the most proud of in the things that I've done over the years. And I suppose, no, there ain't no supposing, I know that I did right at 5,000 units of subsidized housing as a private developer back in the days when it was not popular to do subsidized housing. I was the first in the private industry, and we started this about 1969, 1970. And the fact that there's many thousands of people got a safe, secure home to live in that they can afford today is probably the thing that makes me feel the best, because, you know, subsidized housing became very close to being noble to me. And I've never sold my projects. I still have them. And all my projects that are subsidized housing are still subsidized housing.
Not only did he build our building, he has built in the landscape of our valley so many affordable housing. And many of these young people that we did work with live in affordable housing.
Starting in about 1987, whenever they decided that the private industry was no longer going to be building, then it had to be taken over by the nonprofit organizations to build. And I continue on, and I still have a construction company that we build lots of subsidized housing for nonprofit corporations, and they get the benefit of our expertise on it. But nonprofit housing, all housing has been very close to me, but nonprofit housing is probably the one that you feel that you've done something for society on.
I think that's almost an understatement when you think about it.
And over the years, I stayed fairly close to San Jose State. And when the time came that I was able to give back, first thing that I did was set up an endowment for a scholarship for a civil engineering major in their junior and senior year. So I have 2 scholarships going at all times over there on the endowment. And then I got involved with their athletic program some little bit. But basically, it was the engineering school that I got involved with, and then we ended up with an endowed professorship in construction engineering, which is a part of civil engineering. So a few years ago, they changed the name of the engineering school to the Charles W. Davison College of Engineering, which is and that's in perpetuity, and which is I guess you might say a legacy for me and my family. And this is brought about primarily by the help that I've given them.
In 2009, Chuck received the San Jose State University's prestigious Tower Award for his outstanding contributions to the university.
And he especially cares about people who don't have a voice, who don't have access to opportunities. His gift really allows us to offer the best education for the students who are prepared and motivated to pursue engineering education.
Chuck has also been a major supporter of community programs, especially with the YWCA, Opera San Jose, and other arts programs.
Chuck has always been a strong supporter of the YWCA. In fact, he raised funds for the YWCA downtown, and he also built that. His company built that YWCA, and I say he continues to support.
What he gave to us wasn't just dollars. He gave himself to us at the YW. He became a role model for staff to learn how to do good business practices, and he became a role model to a lot of our youth, that you can come, as Chuck says, from humble beginnings in Oklahoma. I'm just a poor boy. You can be whatever, and you can still achieve a great deal. Well, he, as I said, has been such a generous person to us. We wanted to recognize him, and I've already stated that Chuck is the kind of person didn't want that recognition. But finally we said, we want to do it. We need to do it. Give us something that means something to you. And he goes, okay, you can take your child care center down there and you can name it after, not me, my mother, Mary Riley Davidson, because it was my mother who gave me my roots. She helped me along, and it was my mother. I know that if she had had the opportunities of many of the programs you do at the YW, could have even done so much more. She was a good wife, a good mother of 8 children, and raised me. But I want that child care center. If you're going to have to do something, Carrie, as he said, for me, then name it after my mom.
When asked what he would do differently, Chuck gave an interesting response.
Because if it hadn't have been done the way it was done, I wouldn't be me. And I'm glad I'm me. And I take all the rough spots with the good spots. So I probably wouldn't have changed a whole lot along the way. There is no utopia. There is no perfection. We've done about as good a job as solving problems here in San Jose as you could have done, considering realism, getting away from the world of what I would like, but taking the world the way it actually is. San Jose is a very good place to live, And I don't know really what I would have done different.
Many community citizens have great stories they would like to share about their friend Chuck Davidson.
He's one of a kind, and when you have Chuck for a friend, you have Chuck for a friend for life. Oh, his role in San Jose has been phenomenal. I mean, he is, if you take just the affordable housing aspect of the things that he's done, it's amazing. And he believes in it, and he believes everyone should be able to afford a home and live the American dream.
He's the best guy I ever knew. Very generous person.
He's one of the truest and most sincere men I've ever met. That's Chuck Davidson.
Chuck has a very strong commitment to San Jose and reminds us of that with some words of wisdom garnered through the years.
But the thing that I have always recognized, a society is only as good as the people in it want to make it. We do not have a divine ordinance that says we'll always be good. And we'll be good only as long as the people in the society want to make it good. And if we start to take the attitude that I've got mine to the devil with everybody else, and we're not willing to look as to do things for the people that are coming after us, then we'll fall. But that's up to the people as to whether they're going to be a good society or not so good society. And it's a great life out here. I've had a great life. I've got no complaints.
In June 2011, Charles Davidson was inducted into the California Home Builders Foundation's Hall of Fame. Thank you, Chuck.